Motorhead Garage, the program that each week introduces you to and shows you how to install the latest in exciting and innovative products for your vehicle. Now here's your host, Dave Dobson.
We are Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonFireTools.com, and we are talking about accessories. Everybody loves to accessorize their vehicle, but of course, Jackson, that means a mess under the hood and a mess when it comes to wiring, and who knows what's going to be on your dashboard. So how has S-Tech changed the game when it comes to switch panels?
So we provide a complete kit for vehicle-specific solutions.
What comes in the kit when you buy it?
You get the switch panel of choice, the bracket under the hood, the S-Tech box to power all your accessories, and then whatever logos you want to mark everything out.
In the old days, it was the metal toggle switch, and if you're lucky, you got a nice rocker switch, but it was just generic with, mine is orange, and that is all that I have on my vehicle. So how can you personalize it for somebody, and what are the options?
Right, so with these push buttons, we laser engrave these to order. So any logo you can think of, we can make. And if there's something not on our list, just send us an email, give us a phone call, and we'll make up what you want. Or if you want something classic, then we do have the old school rocker switches.
You guys make them there in-house?
Yep, we make all of the logos in-house. We make all the housings, and all the wiring is done inside.
All done in Colorado?
Conifer, Colorado.
Very cool. So the buttons are customizable. What about fitting into different vehicles?
Yeah, we want the OEM fit and finish. So we will make a vehicle-specific housing for each vehicle that we offer. Whether it's for a Jeep, for a Toyota, for a Jeep JL, JK, for a Chevy Colorado, or even onto Sprinter vans.
The Sprinter vans I know are super popular, and folks are adding all kinds of stuff to it. So I notice you have two different boxes here for the Sprinter vans.
Yeah, for different years available. So this is the 07s and up to 18, and this is 2019 and newer. Or if you needed something more universal, then we have universal options.
Those universal options, you have a flip-up version there, or what else?
Correct, yeah, these are the flip mounts. So if you want it on a dashboard or something, then you can tuck that out of the way.
Or under the dash there?
Or under the dash, yeah. Or if you just want a standard mount, those are available.
Excellent. So what am I going to see inside the vehicle as far as wiring and that sort of thing once I get it installed?
Yeah, once it's installed, you'll see your switch panel, which fits in the dashboard and the cubby. That's what our patent covers. Or overhead on the rearview mirror, that kind of option. And then under the hood, you have the S-Tech box. So all the wiring for your accessories connects to this box.
And something that jumped out to me, different finishes available too?
Yep, different finishes as with all of our other products. So you can have carbon fiber, textured, or matte. And that's up to you, what you feel looks best in your vehicle.
I know everything is 3D printed there. How much does that speed up the process when somebody wants something customized?
A whole lot, so we don't have to wait to create an injection mold tool. We can rush something out in a couple of weeks and have something that didn't exist before, which is pretty cool.
You have the universal stuff there, but if somebody really wants something customizable, is that something you can do?
Yeah, if they have a vehicle that they feel they would want something a little more clean than the universal, then they can send us a trim piece and we can mic it up, print it out in a couple days, and then send it back to them.
All right, and I know folks are asking about installation as they watch this. They want to know what that process is like. So what has to go under the hood and how does that all work?
So we make it as easy as possible and as plug and play as we can do it. So you get the vehicle-specific bracket, like for a JK, Colorado and such, and you're just mounting this under the hood on our bracket. And then the hardest part would be the trim removal to mount the switch panel inside the vehicle.
What's entailed there?
Depends on the vehicle. On the Jeep JLs, we can use the cubby that's in there and use the pre-existing holes to mount that securely. For the Chevy Colorado and Canyons, then you need to remove a piece of the trim in that cubby and then bolt in this new panel.
Gotcha. What are some of the stranger things people have had you customize?
We don't get a whole lot of crazy things. The
Not
craziest
yet.
is probably an ejection seat, something like that.
Nice. I need an ejection seat in my vehicle. Very good. Once all this is installed, what kind of warranty are we talking here with the product?
5-year warranty. As long as something goes wrong that you didn't intentionally cause, we're going to take care of it.
Back when S-Tech started, what was the motivation behind what you guys do?
We wanted something to look and feel as if it was meant for the vehicle. So not just bolting onto the dash if we can help it. And yeah, we wanted to clean up all the random relays and fuses under the hood.
You can see how great it looks on this pickup truck behind me. It's going to look great in your vehicle too. You can find them at stechswitch.com. And you can find more great products for your vehicle when we come back to Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonFireTools.com. See you in a minute.
Motorhead Garage, presented by Dragonfire Tools, is brought to you by RockAuto.com. All the parts your car will ever need. And by NGK Spark Plugs, ignition parts and sensors for both automotive and non-automotive aftermarket.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com. Checking out this beautiful new Ford Bronco. Of course, it's designed to drive both on the street and off-road, and that means you're going to need some mud flaps on them. And those are kind of inglorious. Mud flaps, it seems like up until now, Jeff, you'd go to the discount store, you buy the universal mud flap, the one with Yosemite Sam on it or the reclining lady, and those were your choices. But at Truck Hardware, you guys are revolutionizing the mud flap. How are you doing it?
That's exactly right, Dave. We started with the universal mud flap as well 33 years ago, and it was all started with this Gatorback mud flap right here.
This is something you still manufacture, and this would be for the older vehicles and maybe steel-bodied things, and you can...
Exactly, yeah. This is the one where you would install with self-tapping screws. You'd kind of line it up the best you can and pop it in. But nowadays, we've switched into a complete custom fit lineup that doesn't do any damage to the vehicle whatsoever.
And that's your Gatorback line, which we see all different examples here. Now, here's the universal, again, for older vehicles. You have a custom routed one as well, with the hole specifically placed for that model.
Exactly, yep, for all makes and models of new pickup trucks.
And all the new trucks have different fenders, like we see the flares and things on here, a lot of plastics and stuff like that,
yeah.
Which is what makes Truck Hardware's products great. And so for the GM here, here's another model for the Gatorback.
Yeah, this is actually what we call a mini Gatorback. This is for SUVs and crossovers, you know, like your GMC Terrains, your Chevy Equinoxes, your Ford Escapes, all those smaller vehicles.
You want to protect the paint, and it's perfect for that. Now this one, this is a monster. I'm assuming this is for a dually?
That is a dually.
And boy, is this made solidly.
It sure is.
Yeah. What kind of material do you guys use in your mud flaps?
This is a virgin rubber material, so it's a brand new, never recycled rubber compound.
Excellent. And then we also have, with the routed one here, this is what we have on the Bronco. And it's kind of a two-piece deal. Mm-hmm. Explain to me the bottom part here. If I want to go off-roading, I take that off?
Yeah, exactly. So this is what we call a kickback mud flap. It's designed for trucks with oversized, larger tires, Broncos, any lifted truck, so that when you go to the bigger tires, you're going to have no rubbing issues. You're going to have lots of clearance in the fender well. The mud flap is recessed back away from that tire. But what's really unique about these ones is you can pop these little locking caps off, and the whole mud flap will slide out of its locking channel. That way, when you're going to go off-roading, you take your flap off, you don't have to worry about getting hung up. The bracket stays bolted to the vehicle, and your flap comes off.
That's brilliant.
And when you're ready to go back on the road, you just pop it back on, and you're good to go.
And you get a lot of flexibility, which is what the Bronco's all about.
Yep.
And you get a lot of options as far as style here. This whole area down here is where the plate goes.
Yes, it is.
And depending on your model or what your taste is,
exactly.
How many different options do we have for the plates?
So we're actually licensed with all three major manufacturers, so Mopar, Ford, and General Motors. We offer 70 different personalized plates in all different finishes and logo designs too, so you can customize your vehicle the way you want to.
Now it's important to mention all of these plates are hand stamped in Canada. And how much your product is actually made there in Canada?
All of it's actually made in Canada. In 2005, we partnered with Precision Designer Manufacturing to produce the Gatorback exclusively for us.
Precision is in their name, so we know the stuff is going to fit. Everything is quality controlled there, and I can attest to it. I put the mud flap on the back of this Bronco, and probably in about 15 minutes you can have both of those on there. Process was simple. We had a couple of pieces of hardware to mount before we put it on the bracket, before we actually put it onto the vehicle. And once we got it in position, we had to drop the toe loop there and place the bracket up between the toe loop and the vehicle and just tighten the bolts down. If you have a few simple tools and a square, you can line this thing up and you are ready to go. And the thing I like about it is the adjustability. I know you have the flexibility with the style with all the plate, but you also have flexibility if you have different sized tires. It's slotted so you can move it in and out.
Exactly, and actually I think most of our applications are slotted for that exact reason, because you never know exactly if people are going to keep stock tires or not.
I love all your products because you pay so much attention to detail. What kind of things are we talking about when you design a mud flap?
When we design a mud flap, we want to make sure that there is no drilling into the body of the vehicle. We don't want to break the paint of the vehicle. So to avoid that, we produce heavy-duty hardware, we produce special clips, we use all stainless steel hardware so that nothing rusts, there's no dissimilar metals, we use aluminum on aluminum body vehicles. We've also had to go to great lengths recently with the newer trucks because of factory plastic pieces which interfere with the installation of a heavy-duty flap. So this GMC Sierra, as an example, This is a replacement finishing cap, a nice tapered piece that form fits to the factory flare and allows the installation of a heavy-duty mud flap alongside it. For the Chevrolet Silverados, we've had these special body-colored plugs made that snap in from the outside to fill the hole on the fender when you go to install a heavy-duty mud flap.
Trucks are evolving, both the materials and the styles. These guys are evolving with it. You can find hundreds and hundreds of products at truckhardware.ca in Canada, or in the US you can find it all at sharptruck.com. And you can find more Motorhead Garage and more great products when we come back, so stay tuned. A special thanks to the folks at Dragonfire Tools for stepping it up. We are now Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com. This is Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com. And this is a CO2 laser from AP Laser. Check this out, hot off the presses here, a fuel door from a truck. Very cool stuff. You can do all kinds of stuff with the AP Laser. In short, Shannon, what are the limits with AP Laser?
Well, Dave, if you dream it, you can do it with an AP Laser. There's really not much you can engrave. You can engrave any size item, and you could also cut things like wood, acrylics, fabric, and more.
What are some of the things about an AP Laser that makes it so versatile?
Well, the AP Laser is the only machine out there that has a 3-part system, so you can engrave any size item. You can also lift it up off of its frame and set it onto something to engrave as well.
I know you have customers everywhere from small automotive shops to big manufacturers. What about somebody who wants to just get started with their first laser? What models do you have that they can use instead of going to a big monster like this?
Right, so we actually have 5 different models. So a lot of people might start with our smaller model just to dip their toes in the water, and then they'll upgrade to a larger one down the road because we have a trade-in, trade-up program as well.
And how many folks do you find they buy a laser and then want to upgrade or get another one in addition?
I actually have quite a few customers that have multiple lasers, you know, so a lot of people might trade up, but they also might just add on another one to their arsenal.
There's a lot of lasers out there, other companies other than AP Laser, but what makes AP Laser stand out from the rest?
Well, besides it being the most versatile laser in the world, we have a turnkey package. So we really just give you everything that you need with the laser, software, training, 24/7 phone tech support, pretty much everything you need and more.
And lots of Facebook user groups as well.
Yes, we have the best Facebook user group. Everybody's so helpful. They go out of their way to help others. You also can use our AP Laser University website, which is a video tutorial site that shows you step-by-step how to do everything. And of course, our 24/7 phone tech support is what we're famous for.
Now here's a guy who has benefited from that tech support. And Nick, right out of the gate, when you got your first AP Laser, you had an issue.
Yeah, I was putting my machine together and I accidentally knocked a lever off of one of the limit switches and it fell down behind the machine, never saw it. The thing wouldn't home, I couldn't get anything to work, and I was so frustrated. So I called tech support, they answered immediately. They figured out what the problem was. Just right then, I actually had another limit switch in the toolbox that came with it, so I just swapped it out. Easiest customer service experience I've ever had.
You've used other brands of lasers, but you decided to switch to AP Laser. How come?
I had been working with some diode lasers, and one of the complaints was that customer service wasn't great. So when I reached out to the laser community at large, if that's a thing, they like AP Laser hands down best customer service out there. So that's when I reached out to AP Laser.
And you experienced that the very first time.
Exactly.
Now the customer service we know is great. Let's talk about the quality of the laser itself. In your eyes, what sets AP Laser apart from the others you've used?
Just the build quality is amazing. I mean, the thing's solid steel. It's repeatability. They just work better with that. One of the main things I like about a powerful CO2 laser, though, is speed. So you guys have talked about large things that'll fit in there, but you can do small things really fast. Things like I can cut 45 of these keychains in 30 minutes, whereas if I was doing that on a diode laser, it would probably take me about 10 minutes a keychain. So speed for me with this machine is key.
Of course, we've mentioned the versatility of the AP Laser. We've mentioned the technical support you get directly from AP Laser. What if you want to talk to other users of the AP Laser to see what they're doing?
AP Laser has a great online community on Facebook, And there's a lot of questions out there that don't necessarily need a tech support answer. So there's a lot of communication on there on settings and different options you have with your laser. It's a great community to be a part of, just to kind of see what other people are doing.
Get creative ideas from them as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And you're dishing out creative ideas yourself as well.
I do. You can find me at Build Dad Build on YouTube. I also have a website, builddadbuild.com.
All right, he's at builddadbuild.com. AP Laser is at aplaser.com, and more. Motorhead Garage presented by dragonfiretools.com. This is just around the corner.
Motorhead Garage, presented by Dragonfire Tools, is brought to you by D&J Precision Machine, leading innovation in the diesel performance industry, suiting your needs from street to speed. And by Delta Performance Auto Group, high-performance cooling systems using cutting-edge technologies.
Thanks for cruising along with us here at Motorhead Garage, presented by dragonfiretools.com. Now, you know, a lot of folks have carbureted engines, but they want to go to fuel injection. But they don't do it because they're afraid it's going to be too expensive and mostly too complicated to put in. But at Phytech, Bryce, you guys have changed that. How have you simplified the whole process?
All right, the big thing with converting over to fuel injection now is we've made an EFI system the size of a carburetor. It looks like a carburetor. Everything's built in, including the computer and a majority of the sensors. With doing that, wiring's so much easier. It's 4 wires to hook up. You just got battery, key, fuel pump, and a tact signal. From there, there's 2 off-board sensors. We give you the oxygen sensor, the coolant temperature sensor, even revisions to install them. So it's everything you need in one box. You drop it on your 4-barrel intake, and you're ready to go.
I noticed the bolt positions, those are the same as stock would be for a carbureted system?
It's designed to bolt onto any 4-barrel intake, so whether it's the 4150 or the Carter flange, it'll bolt right on.
Of course, it looks like a carburetor, and mostly the idea is to keep the spirit of the vehicle that you're putting it on, but also the clearances stay the same then when you put the hat on top.
Yes. So the height's the same as a carburetor, the linkage is the same as a carburetor, so once you hook everything up to it, put an air cleaner on it, no one knows.
So, okay, you're mechanically inclined, you can put this on in a day.
Yeah.
Now, maybe you're not so adept at computers. How complicated is it to tune?
So to set up the system, first of all, it's a self-learning system. So there's really not much tuning for the end user. But to get it set up, we provide the handheld tuner with it. There's a menu that you want to go through when you first set up that tells the system how many cylinders is the engine, how many cubic inches is the engine, what is the idle speed, what is the rev limit, and then a cam selection. The cam selection is a 1 through 4 option. 1 would be a stock cam, 4 would be a race cam. So if you're somewhere in between the two, you can take kind of a stab at it. From there, let the system tune. It'll eventually tune itself to where it needs to be, and then optimizes the system to run on your engine.
And of course, you can disconnect this when you're done, throw it in your glove compartment. But you said a lot of folks that are using this are actually keeping it on the dash. What can it be used for besides setting that tune?
Yeah, so we provide a handheld mount that allows you to hold it up on the dash for you. And from there, you can display large gauges. So anything the system's reading, like the RPM or the coolant temperature, you can display nice and large on the handheld controller.
So a lot cheaper than buying a whole new gauge set.
Absolutely.
And we covered how easy it is to install. How reliable is the system once it's in my car?
The systems are very reliable. So reliable that we're actually offering a 3-year warranty now on the systems. So if anything goes wrong within it, give us a call. We're going to be there. We're going to help you out. We're going to cover the system 3 years. With that said, all of the components as far as the sensors are over-the-counter OEM parts, which are available anywhere. So serviceability is completely there, and it should be a trusted product.
Incredible serviceability, amazing reliability, a 3-year warranty, and this is going to take your vehicle to the next level. You can find them at phytechefi.com. I love hosting Motorhead Garage because I get to see neat stuff for vehicles, but more important because I get to talk to folks about their stories. And Dave, there is a story behind AG Products and how you started this whole line. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it goes back almost 22 years, starting out just in friends' garages, cleaning cars, working in the dealerships, all the way up to the prosumer level. And it has just been a great experience, but there was something missing about the passion I had behind detailing. So I gathered a team in 2020. We started building this line, and here we are now today.
And now, of course, we see it in the spray bottle. Great for folks at home using AG products. What about the professional?
Yeah, great on the DIY level, but on the prosumer level, not only is this a great product to clean cars easier and faster, but it also puts money back in their pockets. Not so much of an overhead, annoying, It's more of a ROI, more of a return on investment for the shops and for the owners.
A lot of times if you see something is made for the pros, it makes you wonder if it's safe for your vehicle to use at home.
Yes, oh yeah, this is very easy, spray on, a little bit of scrubbing. If you gotta get those dirtier ones out, you can mix it a little bit heavier with our concentrated products, but it's really good for the DIY home users, the consumers, also good for the prosumers.
And folks are gonna wonder, is this safe for the environment?
Oh, absolutely. You know, it's safe around your pets, safe around your kids, safe for the environment. If it does spill down your drain or get into the grass or the dirt or whatever, it's good all around.
In the coming weeks, we're going to show you how AG products can make your car look great on the outside and on the inside. In the meantime, you can find them at shopagproducts.com. Every single year, everyone who's anyone in the racing industry gets together at the Indiana Convention Center to show off the latest and greatest technology. Our own Ted Jones was prowling the grounds, and here's what he found.
You know, the PRI show is all about innovation, too. Here in the booth of American Race Cars, Bill Spangler is going to show us something different because most rear-engine drag shoes don't have any kind of suspension on the front, right?
That's correct. We wanted to do something that was very controllable. As it moves up and down, we don't change caster or camber. We don't induce bump steer. So we have an equal length 4-link set up in the front. Our rack is mounted to it, comes into a rocker system into our Penske shock. So as it goes up and down, we don't change our steering. Everything stays true and tracks down the track correctly.
I noticed something else about the steering. A lot of guys take the steering wheel off to get in and out of the car. You had a better idea.
We did. It's a better idea, so we don't have people having steering wheels come off in their laps going down the track, and also adjustable for different drivers if you have more than one driver in one car.
See, it's all about innovation here at the PRI show.
Thank you, Ted Jones, and thank you all for tuning in to Motorhead Garage presented by DragonFireTools.com. We'll see you next week.